Students, welcome back. You all might be familiar with natural resources. Natural resources are those resources which are available in nature and are creations of nature. For example, coal, petroleum, sunlight, water, soil, etc. In this video, let's learn more about soil. First, let's understand what are the uses of soil. Soil provides anchorage for the plants and supplies water and nutrients to them. Soil is essential for agriculture. By doing agricultural activities, we get food, shelter, and clothing. We get cotton from cotton plants and linen from flax plant. Soil is the habitat for many organisms like earthworms, bacteria, fungi, ants, etc. Soil is used in construction. Soil is used to make many pots and toys. But this soil gets polluted by many ways. Plastics and polythene bags pollute soil. Plastic kills bacteria and many other organisms in the soil by releasing harmful chemicals. Waste products and chemicals from the factories should be treated before they are released into the soil. Otherwise, it will kill the organisms in the soil and thereby change the texture of the soil. These are the reasons why there is a demand to ban plastics. We usually see only the surface layers of the soil, but if we observe a recently dug ditch, we can see the inner layers of the soil. This helps us to understand the soil profile. A vertical section through the different layers of soil is called soil profile. Each layer of soil differs in color, texture, depth, and chemical composition. These layers are called horizons. Let's learn more about horizons. The topmost layer or a horizon is called the topsoil. The topsoil is dark. This layer is rich in humus and minerals. Humus is formed by the decomposition of leaves, other plant parts, and dead remains of animals. This humus makes the soil fertile and provides the necessary nutrients for the growth of plants. This layer is soft and porous. Porous means it has many small holes and hence it can retain more water. This also helps in the growth of plants. The roots of small plants are embedded entirely in the topsoil. Many living organisms are present in the topsoil like worms, rodents, molds, beetles, etc. The layer beneath the topsoil is called the middle layer or B horizon. It contains a reduced amount of humus but more minerals. This layer is harder than topsoil and more compact. We saw that topsoil is porous but the middle layer is compact. That means they're closely packed together. The third layer is called the sea horizon, which is made up of small lumps of rocks with cracks and crevices. The last layer is called the bedrock or D horizon. This is D horizon. It is hard and difficult to dig with a spade. We know that soil is formed from rocks. Rocks are broken down by the action of wind, water, and climate. This process of breaking down of rock is called weathering. The nature of soil depends on the rock from which it is formed. We learned that soil is formed from the weathering of rocks. Due to the weathering of rocks, small particles of different materials are formed. There are particles of clay and sand, but the amount of clay and sand in the soil depends on the type of the parent rock from which it is formed. This clay and sand together with the humus forms the soil. There are mainly three types of soil: sandy soil, clay soil and loamy soil. Let's learn more about them. When soil contains a greater proportion of big particles, we can call it a sandy soil. As the sand particles are large, imagine these are the sand particles, they are large and they cannot fit close to each other. That means there are large spaces between the sand particles and these spaces are filled with air. Thus, sandy soil is well aerated. When we pour some water on the sandy soil, the water will quickly drain through the spaces between the sand particles. As a result, sandy soil is dry. As it cannot hold water, sandy soil is light. Thus, we can conclude that sandy soil is well aerated, light and dry. Sandy soil helps in the growth of many plants as it is well aerated and it helps in easy drainage. It is used for construction purposes as well. When the soil contains a high proportion of fine particles, we can call it clayey soil. As fine particles are more in clayey soil, they stick close to each other. These are the particles in clay soil. They stick close to each other and as a result, there is very less space between them. As there are fewer spaces between the particle, aeration is less and they can hold water. This will make the soil heavy. The plants which require more water for growth grow in clay soil, like for example apples. Clay can be made into bricks by drying in the sun or by burning it on fire and used for construction purposes. It is used to make pottery. Now let's learn about loamy soil. If the amount of large and fine particles is the same in the soil, we can call it loamy soil. Loamy soil contains sand, clay and silt. Silt is dust-like sediment. It occurs as a deposit in the river beds. The size of silt is between sand and clay. Loamy soil is best for the growth of plants. It has the right water holding capacity for plants. It contains humus which helps in the growth of plants. Now let's learn about the properties of soil. There are mainly three properties of soil: percolation rate of water in soil, moisture in soil, and absorption of water by soil. Let's learn about each of them. Percolation means the movement of water through the soil. For example, imagine this is a sample of soil. If we pour some water into this sample of soil, the water will move down through the spaces between the soil particles. It is called percolation. We know that sandy soil has more space in between them and hence it can hold water for a short period of time. On the other hand, clayey soil has less space between them and hence it can hold water for a long period of time. Percolation rate is the speed at which the water moves down the soil. We can conclude that sandy soil has a high percolation rate and clayey soil has a low percolation rate. If the water percolates through a sample of soil in 10 minutes, we can say the percolation time is 10 minutes. Now let's calculate the percolation rate. Percolation rate is equal to amount of water divided by percolation time. For example, if a sample of soil takes 20 minutes to percolate 200 ml of water, then the percolation rate is equal to 200 divided by 20. That means 10 milliliter per minute. This is the percolation rate. Now let's learn about moisture in soil. Water stored in the soil is called moisture in the soil. Let's do an activity to find out whether the soil contains moisture or not. Take a test tube and put 2 spoonfuls of soil into it. Heat it on a flame and observe. After some time, we can see water droplets forming on the inner sides of the test tube. The reason is that when we heat the soil, the moisture content in it evaporates. This moisture moves up. As the inner surface of the tube is cooler than this water vapor, it will condense on the sides. From this experiment, we can conclude that soil has moisture in it. If you happen to pass through a farmland on a hot sunny day, you can see the land above the soil is shimmering. The reason is that soil contains moisture in it and this moisture gets evaporated due to sunlight and this water vapor reflects the sunlight. This is the reason why the land above the soil is shimmering. Let's see the absorption rate of water by soil. Take a plastic funnel, take a filter paper and fold and place it inside the funnel. Now place this funnel on the top of a beaker. Weigh 50 grams of dry soil and put it inside the funnel. Take about 200 ml of water in another beaker. This is 200 ml of water. And pour this water drop by drop on the soil. We should not let the water fall in the same place. Keep pouring water until it starts dripping. Now measure the leftover amount of water in the beaker. Now this is only 50 ml. Then to find out the amount of water absorbed by the soil, we need to subtract the amount of water left in the beaker from the starting amount. That means starting amount is 200 ml. We need to subtract the leftover amount from the starting amount. That means 200 ml minus 50 ml. That means 150 ml. Hence, the soil has absorbed 150 ml of water. We know that sandy soil has more space between the particles. Hence, it cannot hold more water. The water will move down through the spaces. But the clayey soil can absorb more water as there is less space between the particles. We learned that there are mainly 3 types of soil: sandy soil, clay soil and loamy soil. Different types of soil are found in different parts of India. Soil is affected by the climatic conditions like rainfall, humidity, temperature, light, etc. These climatic conditions together with the components of the soil determine the type of vegetation in a particular area. Carrots, radishes, potatoes and lettuce can be grown in sandy soil. Broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower can be grown in clay soil. Wheat, sugarcane, cotton, pulses and oil seeds can be grown in loamy soil. That's it about the chapter soil. If you like this video, please share it with your friends. If you have any queries, put it in the comment box. Thank you.